Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Cinementalists. This is the very first episode of this brand new show where we are going to be discussing movies week after week, and we are kicking it off with movies we love. The original trilogy of Star Wars, and today we are doing a live commentary of the very first Star Wars movie, A New Hope. It was released on May 25th, 1977, written and directed by George Lucas. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And if it sounds like we've done this before, it's because we have. The Cinementalists is a nice little spin-off podcast of our flagship show, the Penny Bloom Podcast. We wanted to switch things up. We wanted to mess around, do a little stuff, have a little fun. This is where we're going to have a little fun. The Cinementalists is where we're just going to cover movie after movie after movie. And for the next couple weeks, we'll be covering the original trilogy of Star Wars in live commentary format. So, if you are joining us for a live commentary, you can listen without watching the movie. That's fine. The conversation should be fruitful enough, but I would invite you to get Star Wars A New Hope queued up on Disney+. Scroll that little cursor back to 0:00, and when I count us in, 3, 2, 1, punch it. On Punch It, you press play, and you watch along with us as we watch Star Wars A New Hope, and I'm so very excited. I mean, new show. Mm-hmm. Let's fucking do this thing. Are you ready, my friend?
Man, yeah, and the punch it just feels too right. You know, it is a little Thanksgiving tradition. You know that we've had. We've punched it before for a Star Wars movie, but man, it just feels a little extra right today.
We've punched it before for this Star Wars movie. This isn't even our first live commentary of this, but we're gonna rehash it. We're gonna do it again. It's been about 3 years since we last did a live commentary of this movie, so I am fucking ready if you are fucking ready, my friend. So, if you're at home and you've got Star Wars New Hope queued up, go ahead and press play. When I count us in on Punch It, you will press play. So, Joe, if you are ready, I am ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. Then, in 3, 2, 1, punch it. And we are in there. I fucking love these movies, man. There's something so special about talking Star Wars, and I'm so glad we're going to be doing it for the next couple weeks because this franchise just means the fucking world to me. It's what's your earliest Star Wars memory?
Man.
Do you have one?
I mean, we've always had Star Wars toys in the house and just the action figures and everything, so I know it was probably in my life before I could even remember anything. And I mean, the AT-AT toy, like the big, I don't know. That was like when I was young with my cousins. I remember playing with, just setting those things up. The toys are like the earliest memories I have instead of the movies, I think, which is interesting. But, I'm trying to think of the first movie memory I have. And it's usually just family movie night. Me or my brother would pick Star Wars. If it was our pick for family movie night, 100% it was going to be Revenge of the Sith, or if I was up, I would try to pick one of the other prequels or one of the other movies because my brother would guaranteed pick Revenge of the Sith. But that was most of the time.
Have a little fun, switch it up a little bit. I get it. Yeah, no, my first Star Wars memory is actually going to be associated with our episode next week on The Empire Strikes Back. I'll be sure to point that out while we're doing the commentary, but man, the iconic crawl. I always loved the way it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. It's all the way away.
Yeah, I had it yesterday. My Nana, she's very not fond of tattoos, and I told her, I was really thinking of getting the entire Star Wars opening crawl on my chest. That's what I was thinking of, just all the way up and down.
On your chest, not even on your back.
Nope, just straight up. Yeah, so everyone can read. And yeah, she obviously knew I was joking, but would be I don't know, like a little. I actually kind of thought about it later, like just a smaller version on my thigh or something. But anyway, yeah, we're.
Dude, yeah, the iconic introduction here. The scale, the sense of how grand everything's about to be with that ship just crawling over
and
the top of you.
What character
forever.
do you see first? Who's the first character you see in the entire saga of Star Wars? Boom! Front and center.
There's the boy.
Thank you.
There's the
oh
little
my
guy.
god.
I love the aesthetic of these movies, of course, but one thing that always really stood out about this movie in particular, and the original trilogy on the whole, is that compared to a lot of sci-fi movies, it's dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Like look at the gold shell of C-3PO and the scuffs and the dirt and the scoring all over them. They're not clean. Obviously, the room they're in is nice and pristine, but they're a nice contrast to that. It lets you know they've been through it. They've been weathered. They've done this before. They've been around the block, and to get that perfect level of weathering on them has always been something I've really appreciated. Vader has it too when he pops up a little bit later. He's so much cleaner in like Revenge of the Sith compared to what he looks like in this. He's even cleaner in Rogue One, I would say, which is, a funny little continuity
That's
thing.
true.
But
yeah, and it always I always wondered if it was just the time, like they didn't want to make him look perfect, maybe, or maybe it was just the props department at the time, didn't have the know-how, or I don't know, to do it. But I always loved like Adam Savage, the guy from MythBusters. He like worked on a lot of the props from the movies at like ILM and stuff like that, which is just kind of like crazy. And like to think that just like, random people that can just work on small parts of a movie but then have like such a big impact, like every single stormtrooper like piece of armor that had to be made by some prop guy, or the guns, R2, like all the droids had to be made, like it's crazy the amount of just physical things that had to be built.
The costume design here, obviously, like 3PO even falls under costume design there, being played by Anthony Daniels. And this movie actually won 6 Oscars, and one of which was for the costume design. There's the boy, the one who really won them.
There you
award,
go. There's the costume right there.
Darth Vader. Yeah, iconic shit. And like, I just love that he's not perfectly smooth. Like his helmet's not shiny. There's a little bit of a matte to it.
You're right. In Rogue One, they did
here's
return.
the introduction of my favorite character of the entire Star Wars saga. I love Princess Leia Organa, and there she is having her little one-on-one with R2. Iconic shot. Could be my favorite shot of the movie. That one down the hallway.
That's true. Yeah.
The like that set decoration, man. Another Oscar win there for the set decoration. It's gorgeous. The world building is, there's very little that even comes close. The only thing I can think of prior to this that takes you to a place so far away is 2001: A Space Odyssey, when you're in that airport approximation, but it's in space, and that whole thing. Yeah.
But the sets here are just every little nook and cranny. It feels like there's just so many little like knobs, or just like little doohickeys. I don't know what to like call them, but there's just so many different things to break it up that it's not. I don't know. I guess in most sci-fi stuff, they do just have flat, clean boards, and that's how they think the future, will be, or whatever. Very simple, but
minimalist.
But Vader. I love how it is kind of like there's line. I don't know. It looks like it's just they took some sandpaper to it or something. I don't know, to literally rough it up. And and it's perfect. Yeah.
Well, even the stormtroopers look like they have a nicer sheen to them than Darth Vader. Like they glimmer, and it's I always love that she comes out blasting there. No fucking stun mode. She just drops a stormtrooper, no questions asked. That's my anti-fascist princess right there. I love Leia.
R2's on a mission, too. He says, the princess gave me an order.
You,
I'm out of here. Yeah. I have to...
His little wobble onto the escape pod has always satisfied me, too. I love the way that he can normally roll around, but he's always just got a little bit of a hop in his step sometimes.
Yep. And and then he has the cheat code of having a jetpack built in too, so he can kind of go anywhere. And then even in Clone Wars animation, Anakin just hops on top of him. But
right, that shot of the escape pod ejecting has always been one of my favorites. I fucking love.
Is it a miniature there?
That,
I wonder.
It must be, because I don't even know how you could do that practically. Yeah. But hey, here we are. Man, yeah.
To think in 77, to sit in the theater, that I always wish, if I could time travel, oh man, just to go back to 77 and be in the theater with the people that experienced this would, my God, would be insane. Because I can never put myself in that mindset of.
No, right. Like, we're so far removed from it.
But
it's just been a part of my life since as far back as I can remember. I've just known these movies, you know? There's the first interaction between father and daughter here, before they were conceptualized as such. I love that Darth Vader, initially, in the writing of these movies, was just an enforcer. You know, he was not really supposed to be the big bad. They weren't even sure if they were going to make another movie. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to make another movie. So, him being just kind of the muscle in this first movie is kind of hilarious, you know, and to kind of fathom how 5 movies after this he is the story, you know, like that's insane.
They needed a bad guy for the first one, you know, and boom, they had their bad guy, and then just George just seemed to kind of stumble into a lot of happy accidents, you know. It's like, I don't know, maybe there was a grand plan behind it all and something, but I don't know. A lot of it just
no, a lot of it was happy accidents. A lot of it was that he, you know, he's creative. Obviously, you can to be able to think on your feet like that is impressive. But yeah, he finds his way to the best story possible. I feel like.
I feel like maybe
I've always loved the colors here in the deserts of Tatooine. I feel like they never quite capture the aesthetic that they capture with 3PO in the desert again here. The 2 wanderers and the bright blue sky and all this. Like, I feel like it just kind of loses this a little bit, but I love it.
Starting off an epic space opera on the desert, you know, back on Earth, pretty much. Which I don't know, it just kind of grounds it a little bit, and it's not super out there. I mean, you started in space a little bit, but I don't know. I do love that it is just 2 droids making their way across the desert at the beginning, and it's. I don't know, my boy. You know, I always love watching through the lens of R2.
You love
so
R2.
Yeah, I don't know, I can never get enough of R2, and can't wait to build one of those things one day and just have him follow me around everywhere. Maybe make a function. Yeah, maybe a cooler on the inside, just like always a cool water wherever I go.
Yeah. Nice cold beverage.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
within your little R2 unit.
What else would be nice to have in a little R2 to follow you around, you know, if you could, I mean, you know, portable charger, you know, if you ever needed to charge up.
Little BB-8 flick lighter, you know.
Ooh, imagine like a little kangaroo, or like a Kurdushka doll, whatever those Russian dolls are called, or like a kangaroo pouch, and a BB-8 can just pop out of R2 and just roll around too.
That'd be pimp.
I wonder, BB-8's probably too big to fit inside of R2, like the real size.
Just a little bit. Yeah, real size.
But
God, see, I love that shot. I love him, and the crate dragon skeleton he happens upon here. We obviously know it to be a little bigger than that later on. So
yeah, that's a miniature there too. Which I don't know. It's crazy to see like the behind the scenes and like to know what is a miniature, and now, I mean, within the movie, it just looks actually at scale. Like, I mean, that's crazy that it's just on a tabletop, and they're shooting it.
Playing with perspective. Yeah,
it's insane. But, R2.
Always reminds me a bit of Beggar's Canyon here for the pod racing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not there, but it reminds me of there, you know, and establishing that aesthetic. I love the orangish hue that comes over this scene.
Reminds me of Mandalorian.
The lonely.
Whenever he's, I don't know, I don't think they're Tuscans. I don't know.
They're Trandoshans that attack him at the beginning of episode 2. Maybe. The Bosk type.
Yeah, they jump over top him, and you see the reflection in his helmet, and like, that kind of reminds me of this a little bit.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, I don't know. It always surprised me that with these wheels that he can make it around this terrain, just no problem.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Just needs a smooth ramp, but and then can just get toppled over like this, no problem. You know, just
A poor little guy.
Oh. To think, I don't know what they had to do there. Like how that effect was actually done.
Yeah, the computer effects for the time are pretty impressive. God, I love the Jawas.
I don't know. That was. I think that was my dad's text tone for a while. We would just hear yeah, and then it got a little annoying. You know, after like a couple months of hearing that just over and over, it was cute at first, but then yeah, it did get a little old. But you know, these guys are resourceful. These fellows, they know how. I love in Obi-Wan. You know, we get a little bit more with him. Like Obi-Wan's just personal with him. He's like, well, if you're at least gonna steal my stuff, at least like clean it. You know, if I'm gonna buy it back from you. Right. Yeah, they're just hopping around on the desert, and these, you know, they're big desert mobiles, just getting whatever they can.
God, I love this. I love the sand crawlers. That's always been one of my favorite vehicle designs in all of Star Wars, and I love the way it gets expanded upon in modern continuity with the Mandalorian, kind of showing him battle a sand crawler, which is pretty pimp. I've always loved these droid shoots too. That's
just suck them in. Boop. Yep.
Nifty little tech there. Man, fuck a restraining bolt.
True.
All my homies hate restraining bolts.
Yeah, we got that. What was that in Ahsoka, or what was that in the little or small clone rebellion? Oh man, what was that in? And it was like it was a very small. It was like on a mission. There were a couple clones with restraining bolts. Maybe it was even Mando season 3 that I'm thinking of. And one droid. No,
the droid bar.
Yeah, maybe the droid bar. Maybe I'm thinking of L3 now in Solo. Actually, I know I'm jumping all over.
She
the
liberates
place.
the droids on Kessel.
Yes, I think it's that. I think she's in the command room and they have restraining bolts on them, and she just removes them.
Droid there, by the way.
Man, gone. Just
love the trash can boy.
Yep, trash cans and power. Right? Wow, what a combo.
They're actually not trash cans at all. They're just power units.
Wait, they're not trash
walking
cans?
power units.
They just look
no, they
like
just
them.
Look like trash cans.
I thought they actually were trash cans as well. Oh, wow. I guess they
might practically actually be trash cans in real life, just done up with little legs and stuff.
But canonically, they are just power.
Canonically, just a little power unit.
Okay. That would be funny if if they literally use them as trash cans on set. That would just to make them dirty on purpose, but probably not.
I love when the obvious special edition touches come through, like these guys.
Yeah.
It's funny, these almost feel more aged than a lot of the 77 stuff, you know, the practical stuff, which is
because it might look jank,
obviously,
but it's real at the end of the day. You know, like it is actually physically there versus a computer. But
like that's just a miniature, right there.
Oh, it looks amazing. Like it's just
the scale's impeccable. They really do a fantastic job of making everything feel so huge and larger than life and otherworldly, even though you are grounded on a place that's in the middle of the desert, like you said. Look at the little gonky run.
And then, just like being right here, seeing that window, seeing how small that window is on the outside, and then just how like they're just sitting on the inside of this, and to imagine the rest of it, you know, I don't know. It's just
it's huge.
I don't know. My mind just always. I feel like my imagination's just on 10 when watching Star. Like that's kind of like what sci-fi does. Is I'm always imagining more, like what's beyond the room and stuff like that. And that's you know why the set design is so awesome in Star Wars. Is it kind of what the other room would maybe look like. Like it's kind of a lot easier to piece together than other kind of sci-fi things. I don't know sometimes, but
we're about to meet our icon.
Here we go. Yeah.
Our beautiful boy. 17 minutes into the movie is the first time you see the protagonist, which is always something I find endearing, that they build the world before they give you the protagonist a bit. And he obviously gets to Mark Hamill there, baby.
Man.
Luke.
What a home. Oh, God, I want to stay there one
dude,
day.
Kick ass. You can
I
visit
know.
it, I'm pretty
yes,
sure.
I need.
I'm pretty sure you
It's.
can
I think it's
visit
so
it.
expensive now because it's known as
Oh,
this. But before, I don't know. I think it was just like a. I wonder if it was just an actual farm. I don't know if it wasn't a hotel or an attraction before. But
Right.
and what universe we could have been in if this droid right here didn't blow or didn't malfunction here,
right.
wasn't there an actual comic that said that this was like he did this on purpose, this droid, like he knew that this was his force mission? I think I've heard that. It might have been a meme, but I don't know. I feel like it might have been a
like
comic.
there was something he had to do to make it happen. I think I can't remember. I feel like R2 might have sabotaged him or something. there was a bunch of, he's got a bad motivator, that whole thing. It's gosh. And again, the scale, like look how giant the sand crawling treads are. Oh, you're all good. You're all good. That's one of the greatest line deliveries in all of Star Wars. How could you not acknowledge it?
But now I'm seeing them. How big the treads are, man.
Yeah, like that's
dang.
That's impeccable scale, man. That's how you build a fucking world right there. R2's giddy little ass, like no.
Oh, damn. The restraining bolt. So sad. And there he goes. His force mission completed. He has done it.
One day he'll belong to Pelimoto and he'll be happy.
Oh my God, that's actually right. He does come back. That's crazy. And that little port right there is the little greased up, oiled one.
Yep.
Oh, that's incredible. That's just the timeline of it all is so awesome.
Yeah, that's the mixed bag of the expansion. You were talking about the imagination and leaving it up to you a little bit, and we're filling in all these gaps. So that's getting less and less.
True.
Can we do that? But the places you still can is wonderful, and I love that they. I appreciate a little crowd pleasing. I appreciate a little bit of fan service, and that's one of those small things that's just not that big a deal. So I love seeing that droid pop back up, and I love that Luke's here playing with a toy ship. That's so endearing.
Yeah, I had not that exact toy, but the Imperial tie. I don't know. It's not their. It's not a tie. It's the I feel like it's the Emperor's shuttle, or like the Emperor's
Lambda transport or
you.
something like that. Yeah,
Lambda, and the wings.
Lambda shuttle.
Yes,
that's
Lambda
what it's
shuttle,
called.
and the wings could fold up and fold out like they do whenever it lands or goes up in flight.
Yeah.
And man, I did have the thought that I'm very into flight and jets and rockets and space and stuff, and it never hit me that from a very, very young age, Star Wars has all of that, and that's probably at a deep root where a lot of it comes from.
Where it all stems from.
Yeah, and just I don't know. I've always just had that interest in the air and space, and I don't know. It does make sense now that I watched Star Wars all the time as a kid, and my brain was just
got that
in space.
Adventurer spirit.
Oh yeah. I wanted to, I don't know, I guess be the farmer boy that got to go and be a Jedi, it's just like I don't know, you've always wanted to have superpowers one day randomly, or I don't know, but man, you just...
No, that's what's so cool about this, is the universal storytelling a bit. It's an underdog story. It's just, he's a kid who, can't get away from home, and there's obviously a great deal of George Lucas actually there. Being the kid who wanted to go off and live his life outside of Modesto, California, and his dad needed help at home, but he needed to go beyond what his dad wanted, and he had to go make his movies and, all that good stuff. And have you ever watched that? I don't like bringing him up as much as I can, but that Kanye West clip where he's like, who's the guy who created Star Wars? They're like, George Lucas. And then it's like, what's the name of the main character? And they go, Luke Skywalker. And he acts like he just came up with some giant revelation.
Oh my!
Like everyone's
God.
like, oh shit, and he's like, I know, you know, like, and it's just so funny because it's like, yeah, no fucking shit, yay.
Oh man, yeah, he did something huge there. Oh man, little did he know.
Blew everyone's minds, at least in his head.
Wow, that's incredible. No, yeah, but. Man, little did Luke know he just needed 2 space droids to come in and show him a hologram of his sister. You know, that's
exactly.
Who would have thought? You know, pretty small world going on here. But no, yeah, I wonder.
That's the Force working through things, man. They ran through a hallway on that shuttle earlier where it was like raining laser bolts, and they didn't get touched by a single one. Like that's the Force,
single
right there,
one.
bro.
Yeah, I mean, you open up the prequel movies. R2 is repairing on the outside of a ship, and I mean, droids are getting blasted off, and he's the only one to remain, and like just nothing's coming close to him. But.
I always loved that R2 showed him that little clip to tease him, to like get his restraining bolt off. And then the second he didn't have his restraining bolt, he's like, psych.
Yeah, he is sassy. You know, R2, he's independent. You know, this boy never has his memory wiped. So he's
man's a free thinker.
Yes,
right
he
there.
is. He's a very free thinker. Sad to think that 3PO. Like I guess it's common, like quite common for him to get his memory wiped, which is just kind of sad. Which is like
it is
like man, I guess this is what they do. But man, good old Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, you know, never.
Yeah, their recontextualization after the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they put up one hell of a fight when they show their charred remains here before long.
Yeah, they don't last long. Yeah.
No, they don't.
Do
but
not.
I've always loved Beru. I've always loved the like jean jacket she's wearing, essentially. She's just like the most down to earth character in the whole universe, I feel like. They go into the kitchen before long, and it reminds me so much of my grandma's kitchen that like it's so funny because I'm like, oh yeah, we're on Tatooine in a different world in another universe, but I like that they can ground it with things like this, you know, like a family sitting down to a meal and a son, you know, a surrogate son saying he wants to go off, he wants to submit his application, he wants to go do these things, and it's just,
man, why are always
he's being stymied?
Why are the parents always out of the picture? You know, why is it always in Spider-Man? You know, Batman's parents are dead. You know, it's just why the parents always seem to have to not be there most of the time for the big hero stories. But I don't know. I do love that like it is grounded, and then at the same time you have blue milk, you know, that they're drinking, or just in the back of the kitchen, whatever the heck that...
Something that just makes it a little different.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like whatever the heck that is in the middle of this, you know, little power thing.
Right.
Who knows what it is, but it's just like, I don't know, but it looks important. I don't know.
Water evaporator or something like that.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And there it is.
The iconic.
That's...
The iconic.
Come on.
One of the most important moments in the entire saga with that music swell and the twin suns and... Always looking to the horizon. God.
Oh, a young Mark Hamill.
Love me this.
God, that purple's so perfect too.
It is, man. It's a beautiful fucking shot. Beautiful scene. So beautifully lit.
Not gray. Not bland.
God, and that music swell. Ba, 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 ba.
Just look at the set. Like, oh my God. Like, that has to just be like an old ass, like, panel on some compute. I don't know, like, just random old shit that they just were like, yup.
Look at the way 3PO glimmers during this. Like, that's so fucking cool. And that's something that I saw a tweet about the other day, is that there's something about old movies where they just knew how to fill the background. You know, it feels like that's a problem modernly, is that it feels like everything's so empty. There's a void behind our characters, and you never feel that in Star Wars. It's always a busy screen. They know how to fill it up, and they know how to make everything important. And when it isn't filled up, like right there, it's fucking gorgeous. You know, like it's a gorgeous shot. And that's something that I don't think I've ever given George Lucas enough credit for in his direction of this movie. I think this is his best directed Star Wars movie. He directed 4 of them, this and the prequel trilogy. And it's just funny to think of that on the shoestring, not shoestring budget, I shouldn't say that, but compared to his other movies and the budgets they had, what he was able to accomplish here is stunning. Yeah, like this. It's obviously not My Grandma's Kitchen, you know? Obviously not, but damn does it remind me. Just the lighting, that like almost, just the glow it has, the white glow from the lights. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know, the feeling of it. Yeah. I don't know. It reminds me of my aunt's kitchen in Colorado, but yeah, that's weird. I don't know. It does have just the feel, not necessarily the look, but kind of just like the coziness feel. Yeah.
God, I love the banthas. And look at that. That's an old school bantha. That's not CGI generated bantha right there. That's a dope ass bantha.
Damn. Like a bantha.
Like a bantha.
That's the only thing I could think of whenever I hear bantha now.
The speeders rule. That speeder rocks.
Got to get those man. You know, they thought we'd have flying cars by like 2000, you know, by the time we were born. Like, what are we doing when we don't have speeders? We don't have anything. I don't know, maybe it is just a lot more dangerous, but
we don't have shit. Yeah, no, it's
we don't even have power converters at a Tashi station, you know? I mean, what are we,
bro? I just want to go to Tashi station. I just want to go down to Tashi station to pick up some power converters. Oh, the Tusken Raiders. I appreciate the expansion they got in Boba Fett.
Yeah. Before they were always just seen as loud and trigger happy. Honestly, was just kind of what I remember them for. But yeah, to get that whole backstory, I don't know. It's just better than just having like a bad group of people that are just known for.
No, yeah, and it makes Anakin's slaughter of them all the more tragic. You know, it makes it like, wow, you killed people. You know, not the monsters they've been made out to be, but living beings who have a culture and everything. And the Krayt Dragon scream. He's so funny, man. The way he's waving his arms around and all that. Like, they even look at him, you know, and they're like, "Fuck, that's a Krayt Dragon."
That has to be a Krayt Dragon. Yeah, they heard it and they're like, no fucking way, we have a Krayt Dragon coming up. They look and they're still like, yup, Krayt Dragon. Or maybe they're like, well, that's obviously not a Krayt Dragon, but someone who's crazy enough to think they are. And maybe that's more dangerous.
This is my man's. He's my performance for the movie. I love Sir Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think that what he manages to do as old Ben is brilliant. Just bringing that legitimacy to a young cast of characters who, you know, were trying to make a name for themselves, trying to make a good movie, and you know, everybody had their doubts, but Alec Guinness, of all people, legend of screen and stage, decided, you know what? Yeah, I'll be Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I think that's so fucking cool.
Yeah, my first line ever will be a Krayt Dragon scream, man. I mean. But no, he's the one to really, like, especially when they go back to his place and he's telling Luke the whole story. Like, he's giving the most important backstory there is. Like, at the beginning of the movie,
absolutely.
Like, yeah, like, I fought with your father in the Clone Wars. Like, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
like,
he's crucial, man.
Yeah, so much backstory dropped, and yeah, it has to be done by someone
Let's talk about the speculation here. So it's a common question. Is Ben fucking with R2-D2 here?
Yeah, I always do like to think about this.
When he acts like he can't remember him?
I mean, it could be that it's just been so long, and he thinks, no way, that, like, this is the same droid, you know? But, like,
right.
I don't know, they usually have, like, markers on them. You have to come up, like, close to a droid to see if it is, but, like, yeah, I mean, there's no way. I mean, it's just, I think it's simply just George Lucas had no clue that the R2 would be,
no.
have that much history.
And it's covered,
but...
He does say, I don't seem to remember owning a droid, which is just snippy enough to be like, you belong to Anakin. Why are you lying to Luke like that right now? There is enough of that there.
Yeah, I guess it could go either way. I
love 3PO's dramatic ass. I don't think I can make it. Go on without me.
Yeah, you gotta,
that's
you gotta love him.
Probably the most underrated performance in Star Wars is Anthony Daniels as C-3PO.
You're probably right. Yeah, because you do just kind of take him as another droid, and because he plays the annoying role that every time he speaks you're like whatever, but it's you gotta have that. I don't know, you gotta have that character somewhere.
3PO conks out here in a second, and it fucking kills me. It's always so funny.
Just like, yeah, when he's
like, yo, can I go to sleep real quick? And he's like, yeah, and he just doom. It always fucks me up. I think it's so funny. But yeah, you were just saying a little bit ago that this is the most important. He's got the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders here. This is a movie which hasn't exactly proven itself yet. It's trying to build a world, and Alec Guinness has to deliver an important piece of mythology, the stilted mythology that is so hard to wrap your head around, and it's all on him here. And I think that this is why that right there, that fucking kills
he sees
me.
the lightsaber and he's like, I need to go to sleep. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm a go. But no, this is what gets Alec Guinness an Oscar nom. He got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this movie, and I think that this scene is why. Really, being able to deliver such, stilted dialogue in a grand mythology that nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. The Clone Wars and the Republic before the Dark Times, the Empire. He's such a seasoned vet that it feels so real, and I've always loved him for that.
Yeah, pretty heavy question to be asked. How did my father die? Well, let me tell you.
It's also funny that Darth Vader was also conceptualized to just be a guy's name.
Wow.
Initially. Darth wasn't a title at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Darth was his name.
Oh my God. The amount of just little accidents like that. That's just like, hey, why don't we stick with it? That sounds good. All right, cool. Like,
it's always funny because, people always like to say, they had to have known. His name is literally Darth Father.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, nope, that's just, Vader sounded cool.
Yep.
That's all.
It's where it stemmed from. One of my favorite behind-the-scenes videos ever is, it's not, it's prequel era, but it's Samuel L. Jackson just going up to George Lucas being like, hey, why is it all always blue and green? And he's like, well, that's just the way it works. The bad guys have red and the good guys have blue and green. And he's like, well, what about purple? And George's like, well, maybe you can get purple. It's just in that moment that it was like just a simple question, and boom, he's got purple. And then
God,
now there's every color has a, supposedly something to it. But before it was just good guys versus bad guys. But yeah.
Gosh, I've always loved that. Obviously, one of the most iconic monologues in all of Star Wars. I love Leia and I love Carrie Fisher, and one of the sad things that I always remember is that at pretty much every Star Wars celebration, Carrie's daughter Billie Lourd will recite that from memory. She knows it front to back and everything, and it's so precious, man. I miss Carrie Fisher every day. She was such a fantastic actress and such a burning light of wonder, and I absolutely loved her. And I think that there's a certain degree of royalty she brings to the role that, I don't think could have been. I can't imagine anyone else playing that role. I can't even fathom it.
These characters are just so themselves that I don't know, and I've just known them for so long that it's just impossible to see anyone else. Even for Luke, for Han, anyone. I guess Han, we've literally gotten another like, Aaron Aldenreich, and we've got another version, but like it's still, whenever I'm watching that movie, like I'm still in the back of my head, like I'm like, how well is he imitating Harrison Ford? Still, but
sorry to cut you off here. This shot right here that's about to happen is one of my favorite in the entire movie, and it's just so subtle and so underrated. Right here, when Tarkin walks in and the camera turns all the way around this guy and shows Tarkin arrive at his seat as he comes into focus with Vader at his heels, like showing that whole room off and the set decoration they've got going again, that little orb in the middle of the table, like it's just fucking awesome, dude. I absolutely adore it.
Damn, yeah, they built a lot. No, they built a lot of that room for that shot, like in order to pull that off. Like they had to build almost the whole. They probably built the whole thing. Like I mean, almost.
There's probably just a camera
degree.
In that fucking room.
Like,
Like
damn, that's. Jeez, I mean, and
you just don't get that anymore. I feel like.
It just looks better. I mean, because it's real.
I love the sleek table and the lights reflecting off of it from the ceiling there, like those slated lights. If they return back to a wide shot of the table, you'll see it. It's just perfect, man. Here's Vader being a Force zealot. I absolutely love him being the first to use the Force on screen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, your fake, Force bull crap. We don't believe in it. Oh, well, I mean, this is pretty telling here. I don't know. Yeah, this.
And the guy,
he loves
the guy just sitting next to the guy getting choked is, Yularen, who gets a whole fucking story fleshed out in other material and doesn't even have a line in the first movie, just appears. He's just sitting there. But now he's been in Andor and Rebels and Clone Wars and all this other shit. And it's just so fucking crazy how they've managed to spin shit like that. I love how grand the world is.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's the cheat code. Maybe it was just the first kind of big universe to go to a different galaxy so that literally anything can happen. And then it just, because the Tusken Raiders had a little spinoff for them. Every little nook and cranny of Star Wars has something to it now, which is just,
right.
It's crazy how expansive it can be. Like, I don't know. Like, I wonder if it is just because it is a different world, and like because other franchises that are on Earth, like I feel like they're limited just to Earth things. Even if it is sci-fi, and you can, I don't know if it is the future or whatever, but I don't know. I wonder what it is about Star Wars, or like, because I guess it's not just a galaxy, because a universe like Game of Thrones or is kind of just as expansive. Like you can take any character and go down the rabbit hole, it seems. But I wonder what that is. Right,
but there's only so many places you can go, in this galaxy we can they're going to go to a planet we've never seen before. You know what I'm saying? Like now we're here. And this planet has this quirk about it, and this is how it is. And I love stuff like that, and I think that's something that these intergalactic fantasies give you a chance to play on. And R.I.P. and peace, Owen and Beru there. Hate to see you go, but Luke's got to go off on his adventure.
Yeah,
that's another one of my favorite shots is the burning and him standing there.
Yeah, not fun, but had to happen. But I love the prison. Oh, just the cells, like just everything.
The design is so cool.
Yeah, it's just they got it down. Like it doesn't look like any prison you've ever seen before, really. But it's still a prison block. It's so different, but still, what you're looking at. And to think what the heck that thing is, you just know it's a torture bot. You just don't.
I love that it's just a giant orb robot where the important thing is the syringe it's carrying, which is funny because like a person could carry
just
it.
Do that, yeah. Man,
that's wonderful. It's always been one of my favorites. Oh man.
I guess you got to think there's other torture tools in that thing. We just don't see
There
them.
there is. There certainly
I guess
is.
have we seen it in animation, like pop out like crazy or do anything? I feel like
I don't know that
it's
we
usually
have,
always been just that
we've-
look. That if we have seen
pretty
it,
much.
because I guess in Bad Batch, there's that one that kind of is like it, but it's more of just like a medical, just take
Right.
your blood droid, not torture droid.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nice, nice, crazy Star Wars. What if Luke and Obi-Wan had arrived on Alderaan prior to its explosion?
That would have been real
gotta
bad.
Imagine things don't go well.
Yeah, I guess Leia needs to take up the mantle then, and just really do all the work. You got no brother. I don't know. Yeah, that's a big oof.
I've always loved the way the world has expanded so much, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's story has expanded so much that it's so funny to hear him talk about this random airport bar as the worst place on earth.
Yeah.
You will never find a more wretched place where the evil gathers.
Wow.
You know?
He's of all the shit that he's seen, the Clone Wars that he has been through, this one bar on Tatooine,
this airport bar
has to be
have it.
the absolute
This
worst.
is the most wretched hive of scum and villainy. That always kills me.
Literally been to Coruscant, and I don't know. There's probably about 15 bars on a single street that are worse than this. If I had to guess,
I could tell you a worse place for a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. The Galactic Senate, am I right, folks? Boom.
There you go. That's fair. Yeah, there's a long list of places that are worse than this, but at the time, I guess this is the worst that we've seen.
I love the world building again. We're about to go into this seedy little bar. 40 minutes deep into this movie, might I add. We are almost halfway through the movie when he meets Han Solo.
Wow.
Which is pretty incredible. That's kind of one of the things that I've always loved about this movie is that it takes its time to build it up, and you really feel that payoff at the end of the movie, man. It's a really narrow 3-act structure. I feel like we get all this stuff building up on Tatooine. First act, second act, they get picked up and they're flying to the Death Star. Then they infiltrate the Death Star. Act 2, Act 3, trying to destroy it. And that's that. It's surprisingly simple for how grand a story it is. And how grand the aesthetics are. I've always apprecied that. And I've always loved the I love all the alien designs
We're
here.
in, man. Yeah, this is, pretty iconic. The music too is one of the most iconic, I feel, Star Wars.
I love this freaky ass Deveronian that's about to pop up, the demon looking motherfucker that's just smiling and looking around.
Yeah, like Hellboy kind of esque. Looking. Yeah.
That little motherfucker who's
there.
got glass. Yeah,
there he is.
Right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's the band, good old Cantina band.
Iconic,
man. But I don't know. This is the introduction of my performance of the movie that I don't know. I ended up going with is Harrison Ford. I've been just recently. I've only seen the first 2 indie movies. Saving the rest of them for when we eventually get around to them later. But I've been on a little Harrison Ford kick. I watched the original Blade Runner as well when I was on vacation. That was nice. So I've been watching a lot more Harrison Ford, and I don't know.
I'm curious. I know this is a little bit of a pivot. Did that movie? Is that movie better now?
I did enjoy it more. It's not not like a Tenet where whoa, I'm in love with this movie now, but it was way more of the craft, and I appreciated it much more on the second watch. Yeah, it was
so
very
cool
nice
to see all the. Sorry, I appreciate how many aliens they eventually expand on. We saw the Cad Bane species over there. We saw an Ithorian just a second ago. These 2 motherfuckers play a role in the Dr. Aphra comics. Actually,
really.
Yeah, like they are in those books, which is it's hysterical, you know?
Huh.
Like,
Wow.
they also pop up in Rogue One, which means they came pretty much straight from Jeddah to Tatooine.
Oh, they are they are in Rogue One?
Yeah, they
Those
like
two?
bump into Jin.
Really?
Yeah. And they like almost fight, and Cassian's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's all good."
Damn. Yeah, but Obi-Wan had to let him know. It's like, man, that little grin on his face. He's like, man, I haven't tasted that action in so long. Thank you for that.
He's like, "All right, who want to fuck with us? Who's next?"
All of y'all thought we were fake in Legends. No. Yeah, this...
Everybody just goes back to their business. They haven't seen a Jedi in 15, 20 years, and they're like, no big deal, fuck it.
Just it.
That cunty guy at the bar smoking.
Man, he was... I mean, that was a look there. Yeah, he was... I mean, just posted up. Perfect frame in the camera. Like, knew he was being filmed, but...
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, his 1 second of fame there. Heck, I would, too.
Yeah, he did.
There he is.
There he is. There's my man's. God, I love Harrison Ford. I love Harrison Ford, and it you know, it's funny to think how much he couldn't give a shit less about the character Han Solo.
Like, it plays perfectly into the character almost. It's like the fact that he doesn't give a shit helps him with the role. And man, he talks about Indiana Jones like it's the most fond memories of his life, and then he's like, Star Wars, give me the money. That is all I care about. Where's the check?
And it's funny because, I mean, Indiana Jones is a much more well-rounded and interesting character than Han Solo. But they're not incredibly different. And I think it is Han Solo. I mean, not Han Solo. I think it is Harrison Ford that kind of brings that gravitas and makes you feel like they're similar. But he's just so damn good, man. And he's so damn cool.
Effortlessly.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love Harrison Ford. God, he's just he's such a talented actor, you know. Like one of the movie franchises that I want to get into a little bit is you know, when he plays Clear and Present Danger, and he's from is it Tom Clancy novels? I'm trying to remember, you know, like I can't remember them off the top of my head, but he's essentially like a U.S. government agent who's always on the run and going rogue and all this shit.
I feel like I've seen parts of that movie, and he's like,
Jack Ryan. He plays Jack Ryan. That's from the Tom Clancy novels. Okay, I'm glad I wasn't making that up. The Fugitive, and
that's
it.
That's The Fugitive. But, yes, that's what I was thinking of. Okay. I think I've seen parts. Is he like a doctor or like some? Maybe he's not a doctor, or like there's some pill.
Dr. Richard Kimball.
Yeah. Okay.
Accused of murdering his wife, must find the real killer.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like he's in the laundry room of a hotel or something at the end of the movie or something like that, and I don't know. That's what the one memory I have, but
yeah, legitimately, nobody has ever had as good a run as Harrison Ford did from 1980 to 1985. Here's 5 movies in a row: Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Blade Runner, Return of the Jedi, Temple of Doom, and Witness.
Oh my God! I don't know what Witness is. That's the only one that I wouldn't know of. But
that's he got some acclaim for that. That's a pretty well renowned movie. But no, it's an insane run that man went on. I mean, and even just in a 3-year span there, 80 through 82, 3 different iconic movies: Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Blade Runner. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Man,
the way he walks out of that bar always kills me.
What a world it would be to just kill someone and be like, all right, well, 1 gold coin's enough to get you to clean it and take care of it all. See ya. But
God, that guy has an awful haircut.
I think, I wonder if that's for the time, if that's actually a good haircut for him, if he's really rocking that, or if they made it bad on purpose.
Well, that was one of the things that George Lucas really wanted to prevent was he wanted it to be timeless. So he wanted to prevent as much 70s aesthetics as he could possibly manage. And there are, I mean, sometimes the 70s are just inescapable. So it just, it bleeds through at some points. And I think that guy with those sideburns is kind of one of those examples. But there's one guy in the Rebel Alliance later who it is just so obvious that he is from the 70s. I can't wait to point him out eventually. Yeah. I always love this white droid. I want to know what he's up to.
Yeah.
That poor guy looks like he's geeking out.
Man, yeah, he's not doing too good. Yeah, he really is geeking.
Yeah.
That's the first time I think I've noticed that, or really paid attention to him. But yeah, he was really geeking out. But man, all these, just like these back hallway shots, I don't know, or just like kind of the alleyways. Yeah, man, really, man, has anyone ever thought that wasn't a dick nose before? You know, I mean, that was. Right. It's just very. I mean,
apparent. It just looks like a giant cock hanging from his face. Like that's just what this is what it kind of looks like.
Yeah, imagine seeing this.
Yeah, this
guy.
is another one of those special editions.
Yeah.
Special edition touches that obviously was not in the movie in '77.
Man, I wonder what it looks like originally. I guess
I do too. I don't think I've ever seen.
I don't know if my Blu-ray. Yeah, I wonder what my Blu-ray would have, but I'd imagine it's probably special edition as well. Mine, you know, if I had
it will
to
be.
guess.
You can't get
wow
the original cut of this movie, the theatrical cut, which is kind of insane. I'm pretty sure originally it was just a guy.
Wait, what?
I'm pretty sure it was just a dude originally. Like it was not.
Wow.
And even this, I think, isn't the special editions. It's like a souped-up version, even post-special editions, which is kind of insane.
Wow. Yeah, that's... I wonder what the OG looked... That is crazy to think. How many different versions... Sorry. How many different versions there are of this one movie. And just... Some things are timeless, but
Boba Fett was added in those special editions as well. He was not originally there.
Got to give him more than 4 minutes of screen time. Yeah, it feels like he's such a bigger character than for whatever reason. But man, yeah, that is just the most.
I mean, it's just an iconic design. I mean, it's veiny and everything. It's fucking ridiculous.
God,
I love the poncho.
Yeah,
I need more ponchos.
Way more of that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. Cal Kestis, he was a fan of the poncho.
Big poncho guy. Mm-hmm. Big poncho guy. Cal Kestis.
Love the vest. I mean, the Han vest though as well. Yeah, they just got
always iconic.
Everything going.
Showing off the chest hair a little bit.
But man, yeah, poncho. Maybe we do need to bring that back. That's I don't know. Right now though, I don't know. It's not poncho weather, but maybe at the end of the year, or we can start a poncho revolution.
Fall. Yeah, we'll bring back the. He accidentally punched his nose there. I don't know if you saw that. I've never noticed that. Got in the way. But gosh, the firefights. That's just so kick ass.
So many video game levels that are exactly in this room. I don't know. Just exactly. It's just
Chewie, get us out of here. The Millennium Falcon. It's always funny whenever people call it a hunk of junk, you know? Like, that's just a cool ship. I don't know what they're talking about.
That's a beaut right there. Come on. I mean...
I think it's funny because, like, in universe, they try to justify it as a pile of junk, but, like, we have nothing even remotely like that, so we think it's fucking awesome regardless.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
Because, like, I guess, like, there are, like, a Naboo starfighter, you know, like, that's like a Ferrari, that's, you know, that's a Rolls Royce.
That's very clean.
That is, yeah, that's clean, but, so I guess there are, you know, different levels of luxury, but, no, I've always thought of the Millennium Falcon as badass, like, that's like I don't know, it's like the equivalent of, I don't know, like an old Mustang, or like an old Camaro, or just an old classic muscle car, or something like that. Is what I compare the Falcon to.
I always think of it as like a Ford Bronco.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, well, OJ cruising down the cruising down the highway. In the
It's kind of the vibes that the Millennium Falcon gives me.
a Ford Bronco.
One of my favorite John Mulaney jokes, one of my favorite OJ jokes, period, was by John Mulaney, who said, "Imagine doing something so fucked up that they stopped making the Toyota Camry," because they stopped making the Ford Bronco for a really long time.
Oh, that is awesome. That is, I mean, he canceled the Ford Bronco. Damn, that is, it's kind of.
You got some power under you if you do that, but all that to say, Millennium Falcon does kind of like it gives me those vibes. Like it's not like the coolest or nicest truck you've ever seen or the nicest SUV you've ever seen, but goddamn, will it get you where you're going?
Man, I guess is hyper like when you're traveling light speed. I guess you go the same speed no matter what ship you're in. So like.
Yeah.
If they were in a nicer ship, they wouldn't have arrived at Alderaan quicker, So like,
right.
So
that's a good question, actually.
Say they had a really nice ass ship. I don't know. I guess
different levels of hyperspace.
I guess there's hyperspace lanes.
I'm not sure.
Is how they say it.
So does the pilot know how to navigate them the best possible way is probably more what it depends upon. This is the other actor who I would also consider going with for performance. Peter Cushing is so good as Tarkin.
The two big dogs to give the credibility to the movie. And given one, Alec Guinness having the backstory being one of the good guys, and then having the guy to stand opposing the muscle, the real voice behind the muscle almost, and the voice of the Emperor really before we get the Emperor. I don't know, just kind of
I've always loved Carrie Fisher kind of describing what it was like working with Peter Cushing, because he was so intimidating, just like as an actor. He was so talented and so well-renowned, and people knew Peter Cushing, that when she came on set, she was nervous, so that's why she kind of has a vague British accent in scenes with him.
Wow, she was just actually nervous. Yeah, like in...
I knew, I should have known it was you when that foul stench, she has that vague...
Yeah.
Oh, man. That gets, obviously... It sucks to watch an entire planet blow up. But the way that's been expanded upon in novels and other places, one of my favorite books in all of Star Wars is Bloodline, which it deals a lot with Leia in a little bit before the sequel trilogy era, kind of reckoning with the fact that her father was Darth Vader. And she has nightmares where she watches her home be blown up, and all she can feel is her father's hand on her shoulder, making her watch, and the fact that he tortured her and stuff. And it's just like, Luke is capable of that forgiveness of their dad, but Leia absolutely is not. Just suffered a lot more personal tragedy at his hands.
Eesh. Yeah, that's to just contextualize it in that sense. That is, oh my God. Yeah, that's
her dad is holding his hand on her shoulder to make her watch as he kills her entire planet. Pretty rough.
Yeah, rule the galaxy with me, why don't you? After that,
why don't you?
Let's rule the galaxy. And imagine just that what if Luke and Leia actually teamed up with Vader, or just never were separated from Vader. I guess if Vader,
they were raised by Vader,
I guess Palpatine really would pretty much raise him, but probably. But that's a scary thought there. But glad we're not in that world. This world is so much better. It's. I don't know, at one point I think I would have rather seen that, just to see, like, the souped up... I don't know, I was always so focused on, like, power rankings and who's the most powerful or whatever.
Right.
Who's the strongest. And, I feel like everyone's favorite Avenger growing up is Thor because he's the strongest, and if you like Thor, then no one can beat you. So
you loved Anakin when you were younger because he was the most powerful Jedi of all time.
That's
and, all that good stuff.
That's one thing I'll forever. I'm an Obi-Wan truther. I've been with Obi-Wan since day one. If me and my brother fought, my brother was Anakin, I was Obi-Wan. And I wanted to be Obi-Wan. There was no contest. My brother wanted Anakin with every fiber in his being. So I mean, we were just cool. We were chill as Obi-Wan and Anakin. But yeah, I don't know. I've always thought of Anakin as cool, and I love the movies. But man, I've always been an Obi-Wan fan. That's kind of like over Anakin for me, at least, if I had to pick one. But yeah, he's. I don't know, more prequel Obi-Wan is where my love really shines for him. Just those are the movies, growing up. But now, I don't know, a new appreciation as the old guy now. The old wizened Obi-Wan, seeing the Clone Wars, his fight with Maul at the very, very end, and seeing, I don't know, all of that stuff is incredible now to see it all.
Oh yeah.
Just a doomed man. A man has been through quite a lot. Just seen some shit.
Bro's had a rough one. Had a rough existence.
Man, I want there to be somewhere, in some way, that him and Duchess have a kid somehow. I don't know how it's possible.
Gosh.
They would have to have popped up at some point by now. I was really hoping it was going to be Rey.
Right, I remember you telling me about that theory of yours.
It did not happen, but that's okay. I don't know. I'm still holding out hope.
Can you imagine pulling up to a planet and the planet's not there? That'd be kind of disturbing.
Yeah, where's Alderaan? It's actually right there.
How the fuck could you possibly manage that?
That was Alderaan, actually. You just flew through it.
Moon.
That's no moon. Man, yeah, what a...
One of my favorite pieces of trivia George Lucas, creative genius, wonderful visionary when it came to his imagination. Harrison Ford has talked about working with George as his director, and specifically in regards to him piloting the Millennium Falcon, where he'll be like, all right, so how do I fly this thing? What controls do I need to be? And he's like, oh, you just fly it.
Just fly it.
Harrison Ford's talked about how much he fucking hated every time George Lucas would tell him something like that.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I know I just fucking fly it, George. How do I fucking fly it? That's always one of my, it would frustrate the shit out of him every time George would be like, well, you just fly it. You fly the ship,
Wow. Man, maybe.
So pretty much every little movement he does where he's just pushing shit around is just him. He's just doing that.
Man. Yeah, how helpful. That's kind of your job, George, is to actually tell him how to fly it. That is the job of the director, it feels like. But, wow. Yeah, I see where Harrison's, whereas his, maybe a little bit of hatred comes from. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think that, and then working with Steven Spielberg on the Indiana Jones movies, it could be a reason why there's a little bit more love for those movies, is that, the people you work with are important, and while George is, gosh, this is another one of those things, scale-wise, that just always baffles
the window.
Me. Like, the Millennium Falcon is huge. Look how fucking tiny it is. And this one section of the Death Star. Like, that is so fucking cool. And that just sets up how daunting to me this enemy is. Like, it's a planet killer, but then seeing that, like, you saw the size of the Millennium Falcon earlier. They're all sitting in one tiny little portion of that fucking thing right now. But this is puny compared to that.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
I've always just wondered what would happen if you just ran and jumped out of one of those things, out of the force. Can you jump through it, the force field?
Or you can.
And just you'd die. Whatever.
You die, yeah.
But I mean, like, would it? It doesn't affect you at all. You just go right through. Have we seen that canonically?
I don't know that we have. I believe Rise of Skywalker might have something like it. Whenever Ben Solo tells Rey that she's
he's
Palpatine's
right on the edge. I feel like of one, and he holds him. Maybe we see stormtroopers fly through and just like get blown off of one.
She's on the edge, and the Falcon's engines flare and blow troopers back, but he holds himself in place by the Force.
Oh, so she
just jumps out onto the Falcon.
Oh, so they're actually blown back more into the base then, rather than to space. Yeah. Okay.
I love the little hiding compartment and the way it comes back around.
Oh, it's classic. So much has been hidden back down there.
Oh yeah, that's a smuggler's bank right there.
Man, what a shit. I mean, just...
Who's more a fool, the fool or the fool who follows?
Yeah, I mean, the more you look at the Falcon, the more like a hunk of junk it does look, but there's a beauty in it.
Specifically at this time.
Yeah, right now it doesn't look too good, but there's I don't know.
Aw, Han giving Chewie a little pet and scratch on the back of the head there is always so cute to me. I love their friendship.
What the heck is... You know, they had to make that big-ass scanner. You know? Why?
Right.
Just 'cause?
Those crates are just like spray-painted boxes, you know?
Yeah. Oh, man. All the little just random doohickeys they had to just... I love the prop, just to think of the props department and just how they're like, well, yeah, this looks right about here, and just put it together.
The weapons have always been one of the most interesting parts to me, how they are like actual, like, God, again, set decoration. That looks fucking incredible, you know, like that is beautiful. But the weapons being modeled after like a lot of World War II era weapons with like extra attachments and stuff. Like that's just so cool.
Yeah, I love Han's. What, DG-44, is that right?
DL.
Yeah, it didn't sound quite right. 75% there, but yeah, that
you got 3 out of the 4 digits there.
But man,
God, the way those doors slam, somebody's got to have died by one of those at some point, right?
Why do they? Yeah, like what? Why do they slam? Like, is it just they had to speed up the footage so much or something like that? Like, because it's
they remove a frame to do that. Like, you'll always see like a little mini skip every time one of those doors slams shut. There's one in a little bit with Obi-Wan that is quite apparent, I feel like, when he leaves this room. But God, like, I love those blueprints. That like, that's so fucking cool. That's so cool. That's just kind of what I always come away with every single time I'm watching these. Is like, God damn, that's so cool. Right here. He'll approach the door, it'll like, and then it's slamming behind him or in front of him is always so, it always just gets a little giggle out of me.
Yeah, it's like
right
they
there.
clearly are pausing for like a cut that they know will come.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's, I don't know, it's funny. Yeah, and man, yeah, boom. I mean, with authority, those things slam down.
Yeah, it comes down. But yeah, that was the last interaction Obi-Wan has with Luke there.
Damn.
You know, your destiny lies on a different path than mine.
Last physical interaction, I guess.
That's true. That is true.
There's one more sight. He sees him one more time right before he gets sliced.
It's true.
But then has some other plainly, I don't know if that's the right way to say that, otherworldly experiences,
right,
with him. But use the Force, Luke.
Use the Force, Luke. God, I love the reflections off 3PO's body. Like, that is always one of my favorite things. Is like the reds that are on him right there. Like, that looks so good, dude. This is one of the best Harrison Ford scenes also, or like one of the best Harrison Ford places. Whenever he has that conversation with them later on, it's incredible. You said you didn't want to just wait to be captured. Now you want to stay? It's another great line delivery.
Man,
The
so
choppy, faster, more intense was the famous George Lucas direction. And boy, do they do that. That 40s-esque serial dialogue where they're like, see? You know?
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it is just such a crazy blend of different time periods. Such futuristics with such...
There's such a classicness to it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what makes it timeless.
Even Luke's... I know I was talking about the 70s earlier, and how he didn't want much 70s, but even Luke's hair is pretty fucking 70s. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's a 70s cut right there. I mean, it
looks incredible. That's some great... That's probably the best Luke's hair has ever looked, in fact. Like, right here in this moment.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good. Both of them. Harrison and Mark Hamill right now. Yeah,
Harrison Ford. I mean, like, hard to make Harrison Ford look bad.
True.
Also, that is an attractive man.
Are we going to get another door?
Yeah.
Door cut? Oh, not quite. Love the PowerPoint transitions.
Oh, the mouse droids.
I don't know. People always say that Star Wars has the simplest transitions from scene to scene, and like it, sometimes has like the circle. Just like coming from the middle of the screen, or like the closing in, or
the swipe.
Yeah. Just it's simple.
Swipe
it's simple, but it works.
No, yeah, and there's a classicness to that too. Like look at that,
That's incredible.
That's fucking outstanding.
How do you do that? Like, what was that a mixture of?
There's Yularen again. Wow,
man.
There he goes. Those goofy ass helmets.
Just the sheer amount of things that were built, like it's great. Just and then probably once it was done and over, they just took it down because you can't have it take up the space anymore. But like, how much room did this set take up right here? Just for these couple shots right here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I bet like it's nice once you get to the Imperial sets because a lot of the stuff just repeats. Like you can have those panels, like just the kind of iconic, like I don't know what those light panels. They just repeat a lot, so maybe they just had a couple of those on standby, but right. Like that, like I mean, obviously the whole hallway there is not real, but like. Oh my God! Like
no, yeah, but like that's awesome that they managed something even remotely like that. Like that looks incredible. God, those helmets are so fucking doofy. I love them taking them all out. Don't they like take out cameras? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh yeah, good job, guys. Nobody saw it. Having a giant fucking firefight in this room.
Damn,
nobody's going to hear about it. Nobody saw it.
Still people alive, and they're going for the cameras first. I mean, I
like
think...
There's so many cameras.
Man, oh my God, now that how many cameras did they... Oh my God! What and another! Holy shit. Wow,
they just kept coming. I don't think I've ever noticed how many fucking cameras are in that room.
The budget cuts... I mean, the budget that they would save... If they just, I don't know, used even just half of that amount of cameras. I mean,
Everything's under control, normal situation. This is what gets you Harrison Ford's acting.
Yeah,
his performance nod here.
How are you?
Dude, he's so fucking funny.
Oh man. And I love when he eventually just gives
very
up.
Dangerous. God, he's so fucking cool.
He's like, all right, screw this. This isn't going to work anymore. Might as well give it
anyway.
Man,
great shot there as well.
I still can't believe the number of cameras that were out there, but man, wow! You had to just stop and take a look. Oh. He's like, wow. Little do I know.
Yeah. I'm here to rescue you. Love that she's in cell 2187. Nice little Easter egg for what Finn's number is later on. FN 2187.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't know that. Or maybe I've heard that, but that's never stuck before. I feel like that's going to stick now. Having it during the movie, especially. But
I love that Tarkin's just always been such a cynic. He'll never believe anything about the Jedi being alive. It was something that I recently rewatched Rebels, and they're talking about like Kanan Jarrus, and he's like, bullshit. He's not a Jedi. I call fucking bullshit. And then he like meets Kanan Jarrus. He's like, well, goddamn, there's one left, just one though. And then he meets Ezra Bridger, and he's like, okay, just those two though. There's only two left. He wants to believe so badly that they've eradicated the Jedi when they just haven't at all.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, if you were around Vader that much, I mean, you would just got to think by like, man, he's probably done it. You know, if that's his job to eradicate them all, like, damn. I mean, he might as well have for a little bit. I mean, there was a time period where every Jedi was just kind of down in the dumps. But
it's true.
Man, yeah, I love the argument that, you know, just, I don't know, the Acolytes kind of causing a bunch of Anakin, I don't know, whatever right now, besides the point. But how, like, Dave Filoni says Anakin Skywalker's the greatest Jedi ever. And it's like, well, you know, sure, he is the story, whatever. But then I saw the counter argument that was like, well, you could actually argue that Anakin is the worst Jedi of all time on paper.
Yeah.
Literally, like, there's no Jedi that has done more damage to the Jedi Order than Anakin Skywalker. So, yeah, he's...
there's likely never been a Jedi who did more damage to the fucking galaxy than Anakin Skywalker.
So, you know, how do you define best Jedi? You know, most powerful? Sure. Most midichlorians? Sure. But best Jedi? No. I wouldn't say so, actually.
I would argue that he is, the worst, probably the most awful Jedi there's ever been.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, I just love these back and forths.
Either I'm going to kill her or I'm beginning to like her. Yeah, I love that originally it seemed like they were building something of a love triangle between these three. Mm-hmm. Obviously didn't pan out between the brother and sister, but couldn't. We're not in Thrones, you know. We aren't. Right,
we're
not Game of Thrones.
Not back in that time period, but the future, incest, I guess, remains a no. That's good. I guess that's
good. It's good
that we're still there. But man, this. I mean, I've always just been a clean person. I don't like the ick. This would just suck. This only only the monster below them that they don't even know is there. But like, just I would just hate this anyways.
It's already disgusting.
Yeah,
I for some reason thought that this would be a much bigger problem I may face in my life.
Closing walls. Why in every movie that we watched as a kid, The Incredibles, you know, we had to run through.
Right.
I feel like a wall that was closing in. Why did I can't think of really any other specific ones, but I feel like it just popped up all the time that walls would close in and you had to find something to prop them open, or you had to make it through.
I was like, Jesus Christ, I hope that never fucking happens to me. Look at that little fucker.
Yuck.
This is obviously one of the most iconic scenes in the whole of the franchise, and I'm hard pressed to not call it my favorite scene of the movie. I know it's probably a corny pick, but just when they make it out here before long, when it's prevented, and it's the first time they get a chance to celebrate as a family, and Han and Leia embrace, and Luke and them, they're all having a good time, and then 3PO's like, oh my god, listen, they're fucking dying. It's just such a perfect beat of comedy and joy, and just it feels good. It's a small win when it feels like we're in a situation with insurmountable odds, and I love shit like that. But it's so much fun. And you know, again, the dirty, like usually in sci-fi movies you're dealing with such clean cut aesthetics, and this Just says, fuck it. What if we were in the dirtiest possible place we could imagine? A trash compactor that's filled with weird goo and a monster.
Yeah. Wherever that monster went, to get out of this crushing, whatever. I guess it's just the sewer, whatever. I don't even want to think of what system's going on down there. But
yeah,
man,
fuck that.
yeah, that's this. I don't know. It is a really nice, like, kind of, this is where their found family begins. Their first
This is when it
battle
starts,
of sorts. Yeah, that they've all gone through together. So
they almost
never really
face
thought of
death
it that
together.
way.
They almost
Yeah,
all die in each other's arms, essentially, and they end up making it through. But yeah, no, this is fucking nightmarish. I would
3PO, come in, 3PO.
I don't know what I would do.
3PO. I love the, like, through the radio effect or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man,
The calm.
Mm-hmm.
Just hiding in a closet. This is frankly some great improvisation by 3PO there. That was some quick thinking on his feet. Like, they locked us in here. Go find them, please. Incredible. Genius shit right there. Gosh. Sorry, I get swept up in it sometimes. Like I said, this is probably my favorite scene in the movie. I'd be pissed if I was Luke too. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, 3PO, fucking answer the phone. You have one goddamn job, dude.
Yeah, one job, man. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Better late than never.
Han always looking on the bright side. We're gonna lose a little weight. That's nice.
Man. Yeah, I gotta lighten the mood somehow, I guess. I mean, that's a tough situation to be in there.
I love that, like, faucet on the wall, essentially. Like,
oh yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah,
little,
like, what the fuck could that
exhaust
possibly
pipe or
be for, right?
what is that? Yeah.
What
is
I
that?
love that, and that stuff is all over this movie. Like, there's literally no way you could possibly use this in any meaningful way.
Yeah, it does just look like an air vent or something. It looks like the exhaust pipe of a motorcycle just drilled onto a wall. But I love that, like, these droid, like, panels interacting, everything, like, they've remained the same throughout.
Right.
Like, in the comm links, the everything is like
there's some stuff you just don't move on from. So, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this works, and I love that. The first hug,
man, yeah, so nice. Damn, there's that many trash compactors. Did you hear the number that Luke just said? If they need that many numbers for trash compactors, holy shit! Like, I mean, yeah, I guess it is.
What number was it?
Like it was like 300,000 something, I think.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah, it might have been 3 million something. I don't know. Maybe their naming system.
I mean, it is the size of a fucking moon.
But,
like, that's pretty fucking big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not just like a big building. It's like a small planet.
Yeah, I guess if there are, like, how many people live on the Death Star at any given time?
I've always loved that sound effect.
Ooh. Oh, man.
Him shutting down the
shield.
What is
shield? Is it shield or the tractor beam? Tractor beam.
No, it's the tractor beam. Yes, yes.
But
they're all so pretty.
Your worshipfulness. I love the different names he gives her.
Oh yeah. It's funny, after watching Singing in the Rain for Cinema Surprise, do you feel like you can see a little bit more of Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher?
Yeah, okay. A little bit. Yeah, that's so awesome to get all these like older movies and see the inspiration of, because like Star Wars used to be the inspiration movie that I would go to. Like, yeah, that's the inspiration for all the new movies I've seen. But now to see movies that inspired Star Wars is, I don't know, it's a whole different ball game.
Trickle down in that way.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to do a Kurosawa spotlight for Cinementalists eventually.
Oh yeah, that's. I feel like I've still only seen Yojimbo. That's the only Kurosawa I've still seen, and I just feel wrong about that. That just makes me feel bad.
We'll have to get Hidden Fortress in. That's the movie that people typically regard as the largest inspiration, if not downright plagiarism by George Lucas. In terms of what he was inspired by, which I disagree with the plagiarism allegations. I feel like God, there you go, Han.
Bow!
What a fucking king.
Yeah, and they all start running.
Let's do this thing.
I mean, they are all... just
That's actually one of the things he does in Battlefront 2. One of his like special abilities is like he can shoulder check you.
That's awesome.
And he runs like that in the game and shoulder checks somebody and it takes their health down like crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. Man, I need to play those games again.
Dude, I love Battlefront 2. One of my favorite games ever.
Ooh.
Yipe. I don't know, maybe run up the fucking platform, idiots. I love stormtroopers because they're all so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I guess...
Literally all of them.
I guess
all
they
of them
all...
are so dumb.
They all grew up in the... I don't know. They didn't really have the best upbringing. Well, I guess, no, they're...
That's
at this point, they're volunteers, I don't think they're conscripted. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not, they weren't raised in this or anything.
Dumb,
they're not,
actually.
Yeah, they're just fucking idiots. They're just fascist fucks.
Damn.
You know, when it came to the First Order, you know, you get a little bit more of that.
At least they're Nepo babies, or I don't know. At least they're somewhat born into it and like completely not human at that point.
Gosh,
but...
I do love the Stormtrooper design, though. That's such a cool. Like, it sucks that they're the bad guys because they look cool, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, there's people still stunting, you know, at all the Comic-Con or any big conventions.
Oh, yeah.
You just see masses of stormtroopers, and that was one cool part of Mandalorian is whenever they needed a battalion of stormtroopers, they just had a fan group do it. Like, they're like, well, your guys' costumes are good enough, like they are screen accurate. Come, like, just film with us. Okay. Like, I mean, that'd be so cool just to be asked to actually film in real Star Wars one day, just because you're known as just being so film accurate. But I don't know. That's the fandom of Star Wars. It can get pretty crazy and get bad at some points. But man, the good of Star Wars fandom is just awesome. Like, it's.
Oh yeah, the best parts of it are always going to. There are more of us, you know. That's how I like to think about it. I like to think about it that way. Ah, yes. Oof. I love that he was already there. He was ready. He had the shit. He had the shit on. He was like, "Nah, fuck that. I know where you at." What's cool is I know that there's been a lot of, you know, obviously more impressively choreographed fights with lightsabers, but this was still groundbreaking at the time. Nobody fully understood what they were looking at with these lightsabers clashing against each other, you know?
Man. Yeah, I mean, because there's not really been an effect like that on screen before. Like, has there?
No.
Like, I don't, like, yeah.
No, this is just... pretty, this is unique. It's original. It's the first of its kind. And, yeah, you can't win Darth. Like, he's just calling him Darth. That's his name.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, it's weird to imagine.
The old wizard.
Imagine calling
Wizard Hood.
Darth Sidious just Darth. Like, yeah.
What's up, Darth?
Yeah, it just doesn't work. But.
What's up, Dar Binks?
Yeah, I guess they do usually derobe before they fight, but I guess, yeah, he's like, not keeping him on for this one.
Yep, had to do it. Had to do it to him.
He had to fade out in something, you know. He had to.
Yeah,
I guess
it
he had
makes
to be
the
stepped
fading
on.
out a lot cooler when it
yeah.
just drops to the ground.
That's true. That is true.
I always feel this is always one of my favorite shots. It's like the thumbnail for Disney Plus. Those three lined up there.
Yeah.
It's always funny because Chewie's too tall to be in the fucking shot.
Man, dang, poor Chewie. And he never gets the medal. You know, like, why is Chewie? Is it
he
Chewie?
Gets the medal,
or who doesn't?
Eventually.
Oh, is it like literally the sequels that he gets the medal?
Yeah, he gets the medal after Leia dies.
Jeez, man, come on. How is Chewie not
Put some
getting
respect
a
on
medal?
my man's name, bro.
Like, how is he literally not getting a medal right here? What makes him any different than the rest of them right now? You know,
bro is down to ride. He is down to ride.
I have this exact right here. Boom, this shot. I have the Christmas ornament of that, and I hit a button and it has all the lines right here that play.
God, I love that smile Ben gives where he feels like his mission is complete. They've been reunited and he's good to go.
What a
like,
smile.
That's just so...
Yeah. And like me never understanding why he smiled and then realizing that that's him seeing them together for the first time again and just...
Since birth. Since birth.
God, it just...
dude,
oh my God.
I also think it's so funny when Vader steps on the cloak like,
where did he go?
There's nothing in there.
That's weird. Magic. Is this a trick? Yeah, like
Alakazam. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's wonderful, and it's so funny to know that I've like grown up with that scene. So the death of Ben has never like hit me like a truck, but like it's just one of those things that, you know, knowing that's character's end is just. It's really moving. That's a wonderful end to a wonderful character who gets fleshed out so much more later on.
Yeah, Leia knows the poncho is just the move. It's just comforting.
You gotta have it. Gotta have it. That's the comfort poncho right there.
Man. And the sound.
See, and that's what's incredible about this movie too. An hour and a half. There's only 30 minutes left.
Wow.
You know, like it fucking breezes by you, man. This movie just goes.
Maybe it is because it is just kind of just simple. It's like at the basis of it, the storyline is pretty simple. It's just everything's so grand and you're looking at every little thing. Like, I mean, this cockpit and just what the fuck? What Luke is sitting in right now?
Genius.
You know, like, are you kidding me? Like,
dude, I love it.
Come on,
and like all the flips and switches he's doing and stuff. Like he's just doing that. You know, it's like turn it on.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Gosh, and the TIE pilot helmets have always been probably my favorite Imperial helmet. The black helmets with the tubes on the side and stuff. I've always loved the targeting computers as well. That's one of my favorite aesthetics.
That stayed.
Star
I guess
Wars.
that's another thing that stayed, and that looks very dated, but they've kept it. You know, like the comm links and stuff is pretty easy just to keep, but like that could have been updated if they wanted to, but no, you know, keep it.
But like it works. It's effective, and they've done things to modernize it a bit. But oh, look at that, a droid being used as a fire extinguisher.
You know, it always felt wrong that that the Empire fought or shoots green lasers, and
I literally was just thinking the same thing.
It always felt wrong. Like, I don't know why. Like, it's just, why is it not the other way around? I feel like the good guys should be shooting green lasers.
They shoot the red. It's always been interesting to think about how in the prequels, the Republic shot the blue and green laser blasts, and the Republic evolves into the Empire, so they maintain that weaponry to a degree and hold on to it, while the Rebellion ends up having to, you know, make do with their own.
I see. Okay, that makes more... Okay, now that I'm thinking of the story and the world now, then That does make sense.
But no, logically, it's always pissed me off too. I'm like,
but
the bad guys should be shooting red lasers, the good guys should be shooting green ones. It just makes sense to me.
At least that's how the lightsabers work. So, it would make sense that the laser, just the moving lightsabers, basically. I mean, that's kind of what those are, is just really fast moving lightsabers. But
I love them.
Yeah, this
they're gonna
cockpit
be married in a couple years.
Oh,
they don't even know yet. They're gonna have a son. Their son's gonna kill him. It's gonna be so cute.
Their son's gonna murder an entire Jedi temple as well. Gonna make Luke basically commit Jedi suicide almost. Just
it is what it,
as kids do.
No, but yeah, I love the reluctant hero Han Solo. I ain't in it for the revolution. I'm in it for the money. And he just keeps coming back. He always comes back. And I gotta love him for that.
And it's not coming back for the one more job thing. It's he's actually coming back for the right reason. It's not just like, one more. I did the chase of it. No, he's coming back for the right reasons. But
you
just
think
will never
a
admit
princess
it.
And a guy like me. I love that he's just kind of antagonizing Luke too. He knows he has a crush, so he's like, what if I did something about it, Joe or Luke? What if I did this thing?
Man. Only if they knew. Only if they knew the family dynamic.
Things would be much easier if they could just like sense that immediately. Like, oh wait, there's something about you that's been missing my whole life.
Yeah, you think they. I
love Yavin. Such a cool ass fucking temple and. Got that shot. I just love, again, the scale, just how far down the line you see those ships. They, built those fucking things. They're right there.
Put me in there. Yeah, look.
Put me in there.
I'd want to be one of those pilots so goddamn bad. Whenever they shot the cable lines on the AT-AT and span around it and made it fall over, that was like, yeah, let me do that in real life somehow. With some, I don't know how, but I need it. I love how this is another thing that has been timeless, is just any 3D animation of the Death Star. Even in Rogue One, they kind of upped it a little bit eventually, but the base first initial loading up of it was that the look of it there. And how'd that dude get up there? Does that whole tower lift? Probably. Is it like an elevator?
I like to think it's sort of an elevator sort of thing. He gets bussed up to the top. But yeah, here's where we get a lot of our 70s haircuts. Some of it's just unavoidable. And I'll point them out if
the sideburns are apparent around the room.
Oh yeah, they are. They're all over the place. Let's see. Yeah, I love that everybody in that room. This is the job of an actor, just looking at nonsense and being like, yep, this means something.
Yes. We are about to go on a trench run. Yes, we are about to go to war, of course. The Death Star. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these guys right in front of Luke, really, really 70s hair. Always really sticks out to me.
I guess these are probably just the extras that they were just like, all right, put on this costume, sit in this room. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, and don't really got to get a haircut. Yeah, you're probably not going to tell that person to cut their hair. Yeah, wow, that's a mullet dudes, right there.
Yeah,
boom.
Those are 70s gentlemen. I also love General Dodonna giving the speech. We see him a little bit in Rogue One. He also appears in Rebels. Again, one of those characters they just flesh out a little bit more in other material, which I've always appreciated. Yeah, the Rebel briefings. Those are always the places ripe with the era reflective haircuts, I feel like, because they're the revolutionaries. They're just the normal people, so they have normal people looks, and normal people looks for the time reflect normal people looks for the time.
Man, just the
I love the
orange.
flight suits.
I don't know.
I
yeah,
love the
it's
flight
just,
suits.
Man,
dude.
they work so well.
I always wanted one of those flight suits so fucking bad. I always thought that those were the coolest design.
Yeah,
I do too. Yeah,
man, I would take one in a heartbeat. I don't know when I would wear it ever. I mean, Halloween is probably the only day that I could. But then, do I really want
wear
to
it to a convention of some sort, a movie theater, at some point?
Yeah, but I don't know. That would be sick. There's going to be a lot of unjustifiable purchases in my life, and most of them will be Star Wars. That are just purely like there's really no justification, but you just gotta have it. I gotta have a lightsaber at some point too. That's like I mean
right.
I don't know, a good one. I'll have a replica that I'll never touch. That'll just sit on a shelf. But then I'll have one that I can whip out and wail. And oh yeah. But
I love the way Han and Luke kind of rub off on each other. I love that Luke gives Han a little bit more of a hopeful angle, a believer side of him, and Han kind of shows Luke the disparaging parts of the galaxy, the grittiness that he hasn't been privileged to, the stuff he hasn't seen, and I think that they improve each other in a lot of ways. I loved that scene just prior where Luke kind of guilts Han a little bit, like, what they're up against, and he's like, well, I'm not sticking around. What good is a reward if I can't use it? And he's like, okay, well, good luck, buddy. And Han kind of, he feels bad. He kind of looks around like, shit, all right, well, he's a good kid, It's Biggs, one of the best, another 70s ass motherfucker. Looks like he's a member of the fucking Beatles.
Yep.
Great mustache, though. Biggs Darklighter. Incredible name.
Wow. Darklighter. That's Darklighter. Skywalker. I don't know why that just feels like they just literally like to take two words and mash them together. I feel like it's the writing room of Star Wars most of the time.
Biggs Darklighter. Yeah, no, that's some great stuff.
They really cooked with Skywalker, though. I mean, Skywalker is just kind of, I don't know. Has it ever been any Skywalker as a name before Star Wars? Or is it truly
severely
original?
doubt it. Yeah, I think that's an OG original to Star Wars.
I bet maybe the word Skywalker, like literally someone who walks the sky, like in Legends. I don't know. I feel like Skywalker, like, has maybe been said before.
He was a Skywalker, not like his name was Skywalker. Yeah, I could imagine that. But
definitely.
God, I love the ships.
Oh,
I love the ships. I love the helmet. Anytime the rebels are mounting an assault, the build up with the music and them all getting in their ships and everything just always invigorates me in a way that some stuff in the franchise just, it doesn't. This just gets me going, gets me excited. And we're obviously about to encounter one of the most iconic action sequences in the history of cinema here.
I had to get real with myself. Yeah, I had to get real, and whenever I was coming down to pick a favorite scene, and I always hate to pick, like, the climax or, like, the end of a movie, but god damn it, is the trench run just, like, the best ever. Like, the best part of the movie. Like, when I was a kid, if I put on A New Hope, I'm going to the trench run. Like, right. I'm young, I don't really... whenever I was a kid, I didn't really care for the first couple parts of the movie. It's not as actiony, and that's why the prequels just stood out a lot more. As they were, I'd skip straight to Mustafar, even if I'm watching Revenge of the Sith or whatever. And yeah, this was the part that was on repeat every time I put on A New Hope was this scene right here. So I had to get real and just
your favorite scene of the movie.
Oh yeah, I had to. Yeah. So. And, I mean, the music, too.
In attack position. Like, yeah. Oh, no. Iconic.
Oh, my God. Like, without the music, it's weird to actually watch it on mute. But it's, I don't know. You don't really need anything else other than just it's visually clear what's going on right now. big, huge death ball versus these small little flies, and oh man, I don't know, I love it. It's perfect in every, like, come on.
Yeah, it is a perfect
scale.
encapsulation of, what the entire conflict of the movie is. Like they're facing insurmountable odds as the rebellion, and this is the great imperial machine, the super weapon they need to overcome. And yeah, I mean, like, this is just pure movie magic here. I mean, like, all of that, just the miniatures, and like that's just all on a table. They're taking a camera and zooming over it, and imposing ships on it and stuff. Like, that's just fucking awesome. I absolutely adore it.
The intercuts to, like, the people on the inside getting blown up whenever there's an explosion on the outside of, like, the trench, I think is just a perfect way to show, like, the scale again, and to think that, like, just that one little explosion is just, like, it's killing one guy, instead,
right.
like, it's barely doing anything. That one, like boom, right there. And, like, one turret, I guess it killed more than one guy there, but, like, I don't know. That's
3.
It's barely anything on the scale of the Death Star still. And then one whole ship is taken out, and that's a detriment to their fleet, like, for their cause. And, but, it's...
And the ticking clock, they've got 7 minutes, or else they're going to destroy the rebel base with the Death Star. Like, that's...
Jeez.
And, like, those guys aren't even dying half the time. They're just like, whoa, blow back. There's a big explosion. Whoops, boom. God,
I love the radio. The radio comm link kind of effect of, it's just so good. The height, I don't know.
I love that guy's helmet.
So chaotic.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Not a mission that most make it out of.
No, and sadly, I don't believe Luke's boy is going to make it out of this either. I believe Biggs ends up being one of the ones to fall by the end of this. He loses the homeboy from back home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to get attached to Biggs too hard. There's a deleted scene back on Tatooine where Biggs actually talks with Luke before he goes to fight in the Rebel Alliance. Down at Tashi Station, where he went to pick up some power converters.
Why did they cut it? No.
Well, because he was going to go down to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters, but he didn't end up being able to go down to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
I need that scene. Oh my goodness!
You can probably watch it somewhere.
That's true. Yeah, I'm gonna need to look at it after this. I'm gonna need to look at what the Tashi Station looks like in good old Biggs.
The Tashi Station is actually in the Book of Boba Fett. Boba actually walks into a bar of sorts. I mean, he walks into Tashi Station, and the, like, biker gang is, like, bullying people, and he, like, beats their asses all in that building and stuff. Like, that's Tashi Station.
Oh, no shit.
God, I love the way Vader is lit in these cockpits. Every shot they show him where he's got, like, that vague blue lighting hue on him. Anytime Vader looks blue, I think it's so fucking cool. That's one of the best ways to light Darth Vader is in blue light. I think it's so pretty.
He's always spinning his knob, too, in the cockpit. I love almost every time you see him. He's never just flying. He's twisting something.
He's busy in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not one of the best pilots for no reason. I guess you got, I don't know. He's still got it. He's got
cooking
the piloting.
something. Yeah. God, I love those shots. The side view of the ships flying through there to show just how fast they're going. Where their background is a blur. Yeah, look at that. The, like, bluish green glow off of him is so fucking cool. I love it. R.I.P. in peace to that guy.
Yeah.
Great helmet. I love how they all have their own helmet. Like, all of them have, and they're all kind of cool in their own way.
Yeah.
That's what makes the Rebels stand out versus the Empire. They have individuality. They're not a hive mind of, fascist propaganda. Like, that guy's helmet's gnarly. That guy's helmet's gnarly. They don't all just have the sleek, black tubed Rebel pilot helmets. It's all individualist, and I appreciate that. I've always appreciated that.
Yeah, well, you might want to, though. Tarkin might
Tarkin,
actually be
you
a good
fucking
idea.
idiot.
At least Vader's...
the hubris of the Empire.
Yeah, at least Vader got lucky being out there in his
Look
in
at the
his little
stash
tie.
on the guy. There's a great mustache in that Rebel war room there.
There's a few good stashes in the movie so far. But that I don't know
wonderful
that
mustaches.
Mm-hmm. Even one of these pilots had a pretty rockin' one.
Biggs Darklighter.
Yeah.
Iconic stash.
Yeah, I guess it is. Oh yeah. Oh man, he does go down, huh?
Yeah, this is where we say goodbye to Biggs. It's one of Luke's more powerful moments. Ah, yeah, the X-wings in it. That's one of my favorites right there. Yeah, how the hell are you supposed to fight these? Like, again, how are you supposed to fight this? But they do, and they win, and that's what's fucking awesome. And every shot of him in there is just so fucking satisfying. And I wish I could watch this with the sound a little louder because I fucking love the sound design of this sequence.
Yeah,
it's just one
incredible.
of my favorites. The screeching engines and the music piping up and the explosions and the blaster fire and the targeting lock that like you can hear that without hearing it. Like it's just I love these movies, man.
What do you think they use to make the roar of a TIE fighter?
There's a mix of things. I believe
like
part of it is a jet
elephant
engine
or something.
Part
like
of it is
that?
a jet engine.
Okay.
Part of it is an animal. And it's fascinating to see the ways that they come up with these different sounds and like how they all end up being certain things. Like the Tusken Raiders is a donkey.
Really? Oh my gosh! Yeah. Oh my god!
Yeah, like it's a donkey mixed with some things, but at its core, it's the sound of a donkey. Like that's why, again, when they won the Oscar for Best Sound, it's incredibly well deserved. You're getting this fantastical shit and these things you've never seen before, but it's all comprised of things you have seen or you have heard, and I think that's just that's so cool.
Recycled. It's all just recycled. Recycled to make new.
God, the miniature for the trench run is just so cool. When you see the camera flying through it like that, that's so pimp.
God, just the level of detail they had to build that thing, like that's just impressive. I mean, just the actual craft of building that. But,
well, and to think of like that's huge. Imagine what it would be like to walk on that thing.
Oh,
like you're barely a fucking dot in that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that stash looks great. But, man, yeah, R2 right there with him. R2 arguably the least, he's the most defenseless one out there.
It's true. He's sitting right there on the back of the ship.
Look at him.
I've also always liked that R2 has like a almost black and white look during this sequence. On the back of that ship, he almost looks like he's devoid of color. God. That shot of Tarkin is pretty fucking iconic.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me still? My headphones died.
You're all good.
Had to
You're
switch
all good. I can
pairs.
still hear you.
But I think we're good now. But okay, back in it.
Use the Force, Luke. My man's. He's like, what the fuck?
Huh? Excuse me? Yeah, he's like, I got to hear that again. He's like, that can't be right. Okay.
Imagine being back in the war room when he turns off his targeting computer and be like, God damn it, this fucking
what
kid.
The fuck? Yeah.
I'd certainly be a little upset.
What's wrong?
Now, what is this kid cooking?
Nothing. I'm all right. Don't worry, guys.
Okay, good. Okay, kid. God, and that tension. Yep, there's the knob turning. That tension building. God, it's nice.
Not
oh,
R2.
No, my boy.
No, took a direct hit. Oh my God, direct
Yeah.
hit to the
got
boy.
Shot by Darth Vader.
Damn.
He got shot by Anakin.
God.
Oh my
like,
God.
Directly.
Do you think Anakin is looking at? I know astromechs share a lot of characteristics, but do you think he can recognize that that's R2-D2 back there?
Probably. I mean, Vader actually probably feels bad now. He's probably out. That's why he's not locked in anymore on Luke.
Right.
He's like, fuck, I actually just shot my
maybe
boy.
that was the first step in his redemption.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
God.
he's like, wait a minute.
Yahoo! My fucking man. God, I love that swoop in there.
Yep, and he would have noticed Han coming in if he hadn't have shot R2 and been out of his
Exactly.
zone. Yeah, this is really was the start of Vader's downfall. And then boom. Yeah, how it let the 1 in a million shot happen.
God.
That shot was 1 in a million, kid. Oh.
R.I.P. Tarkin.
Probably about a million other people.
Million people there. Vader notably not among them. I've always loved that shimmering effect after the sparks flying. Remember, the Force will be with you always.
He just got shot. He's like, damn. Well,
he's like, damn, bro, and I don't even have a space station to return to.
Like,
I just got to fly around for a while.
All right, I'll figure it out. But this always feels good.
This is great. The celebrations always feel good. Like this hug and the hug they share with Han before long. It reminds me a lot of the end of Rise of Skywalker. Whenever Rey, Finn, and Poe all embrace, that part always gets me a lot.
No, sorry,
my boy. And I love 3PO being like, "Can you help my friend?
We must repair him.
Fix him." He's so cute, man. He says he'll donate his organs essentially for the boy.
That makes me like 3PO a little bit more. I've always loved him, but that made him go up a notch a little bit.
It's a shame we never get Luke in this fit again because I
was going to say this yellow jacket is absolutely just killer.
God, those boots and the fucking belt buckle. Bro is stunting.
He's got is that a gun right there?
It might be. Maybe it's the lightsaber.
Is he post? Yeah, is that? I don't know. It didn't look like a saber.
Is he strapped up in
it
the
looked like a gun.
Ceremony?
Yeah, I don't know why. It looked... I don't know. I wonder if they'll... Yeah. I think that's a holster for... I don't know. That looked like a gun on his hip.
Bro is pistoled up.
Wait. How have I never noticed? It has to be the saber, right?
This is one of my favorite Leia looks of all time, too, by the way. Similar to the outfit we find her in at the beginning of the movie, but I love the hairstyle. I love the necklace. I love the draped sort of cape that she's got going on. It's just a wonderful, wonderful look.
Oh.
They're so cute, man. I love them. This is my family. He's so cute.
All cleaned up.
He's got the little... Everybody smiles.
A little
it's all
wobble.
good, like...
Yeah, like, how does it look like R2 is smiling right there? He doesn't have a mouth, but he's smiling right now, you know?
You just feel that.
Man. Yeah, look, is that a gun? I'm trying to look. I don't know.
I can't tell if that's a gun.
Man, I don't know what it is. But, man, that shot.
No, that's a gun. But yeah, written and directed by George Lucas, baby. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful movie. I absolutely love Star Wars with my entire being. And this was groundbreaking here. We're getting the credits at the end, which was kind of unheard of at the time. Movies typically at the beginning of the movies, the credits would come, and this was this broke that trend, and it became much more of a thing for the credits to go at the end of the movie because George Lucas didn't think people would want to sit through his entire crawl and then a bunch of credits, or a bunch of credits and then his entire crawl, you know? but he wanted the crawl, so he refused to put it at the beginning, which I think is
wow, kind of puts you into the world a lot. Now it just kind of works for the movie,
it puts you
right in
there.
Yeah,
but man, God, I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars, and I can't wait to do a live commentary of The Empire Strikes Back next week, which is actually my favorite of the movies. We got the editing credit there for Marsha Lucas, the illustration credit for Ralph McQuarrie, two of the most important people in making Star Wars happen. Special dialogue and sound effects for Ben Burt there. Just all these wonderful creatives who created what we know. Darth Vader doesn't exist as we know him without Ralph McQuarrie. Star Wars probably isn't a success without Marsha Lucas, who is generally given the credit for how well-paced these movies are. Because there's a story where George Lucas showed the original cut of this movie to his homies, Scorsese, Coppola, Spielberg, and all that. And the only one who liked it was Spielberg, but he even had notes about how the editing needed to be better. And then Marsha Lucas took a pass-through, and it became the hit it became.
Man, all these people. Man, it's
legendary.
I always love just to see how
the model
many people
builders
it takes.
there. Important animation and rotoscope design. Yeah, like this is all the film librarians. That's a credit here.
Wow, special mechanical equipment. I mean, you need that shit for
you do need it.
Star
you do,
Wars.
And that's why I fucking love this shit, man.
There we get to the cast.
There they are, the big three, the top 5, 6, 7. God,
Jeez.
I love them. I do. And Peter Mayhew, Kenny Baker, Alec Guinness, Peter Cushing, Carrie Fisher, just sorely missed by the Star Wars fans here. Rick McCallum, special edition credits. Here we go. Got a little Rick McCallum action in there. Big deal for the special editions. Big deal for the prequel trilogy too. Skywalker sound, baby. They're extremely important to like all of Hollywood, essentially. So is ILM, kind of groundbreaking in every regard, visual effects wise. This movie was, and it's God, so
Paved
special,
the way.
so special. So
paved the way for a whole lot of effects.
I'm so excited.
Man, the OT, you can't really go wrong. You can't really go wrong with any of them. So, I mean, it's just going to be a blast being able to cover them all. And especially now after seeing good movies, I feel like I'm just a little bit better of a movie watcher than I was before when I watched Star Wars. So, I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah.
Can appreciate them on a whole nother level now. So, and
there's
Empire is going to be even better. Yeah, I don't know.
Empire is peak. Empire is the best.
We're peaking next, so that's going to be.
We're peaking early in the second episode of the Cinementalists, but it felt right to start here with the Star Wars trilogy. There's nothing we are more sentimental about in terms of cinema than Star Wars. So
there you go.
The Cinementalists. It would have been wrong to start with anything else. But you ever called 1-800-PHONE-THX? I'm curious. I feel like I could dial that up right now, see what's going on.
1-800-PHONE-THX. What do you think the service they provide is? What?
I don't know. Maybe you call and you just hear that.
Yeah, just test your phone speakers, see if they're up to spec. Man,
let's see. I'm gonna call it right now on the air.
1-800-PHONE THX.
THX.
That'd be incredible if it just plays the sound.
This call may be recorded for quality assurance. We have a special promotion today for select callers. If you or someone in your household is over 50, please press 1 now. If not,
I doubt that's still the number for THX.
That's probably
if I
not
had to
them.
Guess.
Dang it.
That blows. But, no. I was curious. But, this was the first episode of The Cinementalists, and we will be back next week for a live commentary of The Empire Strikes Back. If you're joining us over from our Star Wars podcast, Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast, we appreciate you greatly. We would appreciate it a lot if you download this episode, rate, review it, share it with anybody who might be listening. Go follow on Twitter at Cinementalists, spelt the way it is in the title of this podcast. We would appreciate that greatly. Like I said, we'll be back next week with the Empire Strikes Back live commentary, and we'll be back the week after that with Return of the Jedi live commentary. So we're starting off strong here on Cinementalists. We appreciate you joining us for our very first episode ever, and we cannot wait to continue our journey through all the movies. We're gonna watch all of them. We're gonna cover all the movies. Every movie that there is, Cinementalists is gonna have it. One day.
All the movies.
All the movies. We have a lot of time on our hands. We could watch all the movies. So stick with us, and you won't be disappointed. So come back next week for more Cinementalists here on Cinementalists. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, the Force will be with you, always.